What's up, bro? I heard you do music. Nah, I didn't hear you was good. I just heard you do music. Oh, for sure? I got a studio. I only charge like 40 an hour. You trying to record? Alright, for sure. But first, let me just lay down some ground rules, you heard? What's good, y'all? It's your boy Rasoeul, and we back again with another one. Over the years, I've done music in plenty of environments, different studios, some, with friends' houses, some with actual professional studios, some with makeshift studios. But I recorded in plenty of spaces and I've seen plenty of things. Some of them were dope experiences, dope studio vibes. Some of them were very awkward. Some of them was unprofessional. It was inconvenient. So I figured this would be a perfect time to sit down and explain the do's and don'ts of studio culture. More like the 10 commandments.
The hell is even that?
10 artist commandments of going into the studio. And I think that's something that should be discussed. It should be cultivated over time because there's people who don't understand. There's certain rules of ethics that you should consider when going into a studio vibe in a studio environment, especially when there's like other people there. Now you got to take these things into consideration. Without further ado, here I am, Rasoeul, about to give you the 10 artist commandments of the studio. Rule number 1. Always be on time. And this is for you. This isn't for the producer. This isn't for the engineer. This is for your time's sake. Time is the most important thing in life that we can never get back. You got to use time wisely. If you have a 4-hour session, get there 30 minutes prior, 15 minutes prior, just so you can get your thoughts together, get your mind together. You can set up, you can set your environment. If you want to sage the studio, whatever it is that you do, if you smoke, if you got to get a drink, whatever it is to get your mind in that flow state, do that. Studio time is about an hour. You don't want to come in an hour late and you got a 3-hour session. Now you got 3 hours left. They're not going to be like, oh, we just add an extra hour on, because sometimes these are time slots. So there's like somebody else coming in right after you. So always keep that in consideration. Rule number 2, have your payments ready. There should be no reason why you are in a studio for 3 hours. You're doing your music, you're doing your rehearsals, everything is great. And then when it's time to pay that money, you don't have it. That is an abomination. And I know you would not like to be doing work for 3 to 4 hours thinking that you were supposed to get paid at the end of that gig, and then someone comes up to you with an excuse, empty pockets, oh, the check bounced, maybe, I get to you tomorrow. Don't do that. Most producers and engineers, before you come to the studio, they're going to ask you for half up front and then the other half after the studio session. Sometimes they ask for the whole thing right after the session. Sometimes they ask for it up front. It just depends on who you're talking to. And in a lot of instances where they ask for the money up front, that's because they dealt with people who came in their studio, they brought a whole bunch of people with them uninvited, just causing havoc, talking about all this money they got, this, that, and the third. And then when it's time to pay up, it's whistling Dixie, everybody got their hands in their pockets, scratching their head, trying to come up with an excuse.
Trick or treat your ass up out of here.
Number 3, always try to have your music files at the ready. One thing about preparation when you're in the studio session, the engineer would love to have your files prior to you getting there. He will have it ready, queued up, in his DAW, BPM and everything. Have everything treated and ready versus, oh, can you download this off of YouTube, go on YouTube, MP3, and then copy the... Anyway, I'm still waiting on the WAV file. Did you send that yet? Oh, yeah. I knew there was something I was supposed to do. Damn. Smoked too much goddamn weed. Let's see. That's too much work. Number 4, be respectful. Nobody likes to work with a jerk. Nobody likes to work with an asshole. That messes up the vibe, and then word gets out that you're this type of person. nobody in the city is gonna want to work with you. Reputation means everything when it comes to the world of creation, especially if you're an artist and you're going into studio sessions and studio environments and you're performing and you're going up to different DJs and all this stuff around the city. Music is politics, okay? That's just the real deal. So be respectful of who you're talking to. Be kind, be polite, because you never know who these people are or how y'all might cross paths in the future, and you may need this person or that person may need you, vice versa. So always have good business. Now, number 5, be prepared. Rehearse your song. I can't begin to tell you how many times I went to the studio and I wasn't prepared, and how much time I wasted just like an hour rehearsing songs, writing a song, writing stuff down, rewriting stuff down. It's better to do this stuff before you get there. You gotta get that practice, kind of get everything kind of written down and situated before you get to the studio. Save you some time and have you a good time. Because I can tell you one thing, when you're like continuously messing up, you're continuously slowing down, you're losing that momentum, you're messing up your experience and whoever else around you who's trying to get stuff done, who wants to move on to the next thing.
Weeks to do this whole album, complete it, mix it down and everything. We don't have time or the luxury to spend all of this time doing one song. We don't have it. We gotta somehow find a way that we can double up on it. Cause I did my whole album, I know it ain't all of that, but I did my whole album like 3 songs a day. Cause I was just laying it, rocking it, then getting off. You can.
That's crazy. And that has actually happened before several times, not just with me, but I've seen this happen in many situations. So, it just helps to kind of prepare and rehearse, kind of get your stuff down pat as much as you can before you even hit the studio. It'll make your sessions that much better. You feel me? Trust me. Number 6, watch the company you keep, because sometimes you may have somebody with you who should not be there with you. Somebody who got beat. You know what I'm saying? You don't want politics following you in the studio. And when you're trying to cut and do music and you're trying to be in your creative mode and you got too much negative outside influences, they're kind of throwing you off track, they kind of making too much noise, they're destroying the creativity process. This has happened with me several times, whether it was women coming in loud, obnoxious, or dudes, they come in drunk and high, like way too high, way too drunk, fighting, just bringing all sorts of like different energies in the studio. And like the studio is like an energy center where it should be all good, all positive vibes. Number 7 should go without saying, but clean up after yourself. I can't begin to tell you how many times, whether I was in school at SAE in the studio suites where I find trash, or I just realize myself, I like get up and I'm like leaving my bottle behind. I'm like, oh shit, let me grab that, throw it away. So always keep your studio area clean, keep it clean, be respectful, and we all should have been told the right thing to do, especially when you're in public and when you're not in your house. Just respect, man. It's all about respect at the end of the day. Number 8, respect the engineer. And sometimes the engineer may have a couple of suggestions while you're recording. Like they might tell you should say this louder, or maybe you should add this word or take this word out. Always respect their point of view, because they're the ones who has to work on giving you the best product. So it's kind of like a help me help you type of thing. Like I'm giving you pointers to make you sound better. So just always respect that point of view, you feel me? The engineer only wants what's right for you, so just accept it, because we're the ones who have to make your project, your final product look good, sound good. We have to present it in a clean way, and the best way for you to help me is for us to bounce ideas off of each other. Don't just be all up in your head, all up in your ego, like, oh, I'm the artist, I decide this and that. Like, yes, you do. Ultimately, yes. If you wanted something that I did not agree with at all, and that's what you wanted, that's fine. But just be respectful about it. You feel me? Number 9, always do referrals. That builds relationships between the engineer or the producer and the artist. If you come to me 5-6 times and then you bring me like a couple of extra people, like, oh yeah, I know this dude named Rasoeul, he does really good work, blah 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 blah, and they come to me and now I get more customers, that might help you. That might, you know, I might be like, instead of charging you 50 an hour, maybe I'll charge you like 20, 25, you know? These are just perks of having references, and that's just how business is. Like, you scratch my back, I scratch your back. And last but not least, this should have been number 1, but number 10, relax. This is a safe space. This is where you can let all of your emotions, this is where you can unwind, unpack everything that you've had on your mind for however long, and you're able to just kind of relax, put things into perspective, and work on that project that you want to work on. And this is it's a safe space. It should be a place where you're able to be free and be able to create on a high level. So always remember, you're not supposed to bring all your stresses into the studio with you. You leave them at the door and you just kind of recharge yourself. That's the purpose of going to the studio. That's the purpose of when people be like, I need the vibes. That's the vibes. The vibes is being in a safe space and being able to be you at all times. So always remember, studio is like your safe haven. It is a safe haven, and just treat it like one. So that's all I got for the 10 commandments. Now, if there's one that I missed, or one that should be added, or something that should be taken out, and you know, like I said, this is stuff that we supposed to be talking about that should be established. So if there's something that I missed or something that you would like to add, leave that in the comments below and we'll talk about it. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and y'all keep doing y'all thing. Y'all keep being creative. Y'all stay safe. Y'all stay healthy. And until the next video, I'll catch y'all later. Peace.